coming straight out of Canton, 24/7, 365. From the Hall of Fame city, this is Uncensored Football. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Uncensored Football. We got a special guest in the house today. My man, Hussein the Brain from the Fantasy Couch. He's been in the industry for 12 years as an industry killer. I'm talking 31,000 YouTube subscribers, 20,000 Instagram followers, best-selling author on Amazon for how to play fantasy football. Hussein the Brain, the Couch, Fantasy Couch, all these different nicknames. Let's talk about you for a minute, buddy. Thanks for coming on and let everybody know exactly how you got so successful in the fantasy football industry.
Yay, intro. Yeah. Well, it started out, I was at the school newspaper and video wasn't big back then. This is a long time ago when print media was still king. And me and my buddy were like, let's just do some fantasy football content. Then we graduated and we're like, let's just do this on our own. Started making fantasy football videos and failing for 7 years. We started from 2 people. We got up to 11, tried to be like Bleacher Report with their if you remember Bleacher Report a long time ago was kind of weird with like these slideshows and just killing it on Google search, and just try to write for up to 6 sports, 3 sports, 11 writers and content creators. And we're about to give up, throwing the towel. It's just too much. 7 years, it was just, banging my head on the wall. My co-founder, Mike, left, moved away, and I had to be the host. I'm more of a behind the scenes guy. I lack confidence. And let's just do one more video. And we're burnt out. We go to the shoot to do this video, and we're both just low energy, like just negative. Like when you're at a shoot and it's just like everyone's like, this is gonna suck. And we just kept shooting, and it just got getting better. Like we got the energy going, and it was a Pacquiao Mayweather parody video.
Okay.
Super funny. It came out dope, and we just got the energy back. We went I'm like, we're doing one. Let me go all in. Let's go all out. Like let's get the props out. Let's just go all in. Went semi-viral, 50,000 views in 24 hours. And everyone loved it. They're like, this is hilarious. People watch it 3 times, 7 times. People dying of laughter. And that, we don't do that stuff anymore, really. But that alone just gave us the energy to keep going. So that was around whenever they fought, around 2015, whatever it was, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. And then after that, as I was telling you before we hopped on this podcast, we reached the 10K mark on YouTube, and things just started to get better and better. We still have a long ways to go, but man, that's really the story in a lump sum. And those generic things people say, like, the day you're about to quit, when you literally were about to quit. And then the next day, we kind of saw some light at the end of the tunnel, saw some success. I know, if we quit one day earlier, it would have just been 7 years for nothing.
Right, man. That's awesome, man. Now you're killing it in the game, man. One of the leaders in the industry with followers. And check out his book, How to Play Fantasy Football, bestseller on Amazon. 12 years, full-time. Let's get into it, man. We love fantasy football around here at Uncensored Football. Welcome, my boy Zach Zander. What's up, Z?
Yo, Fantasy Couch. How to play fantasy football. I think you're going to have to send that to EJ. No, I'm just playing. Man. I'm so happy to have you on here today. I know you come from California. We're from Canton, Ohio, so we have football just entrenched in our blood since we were born. So thank you again for coming on the show, and let's break it down a little bit.
Let's pop into it, guys.
Talk some fantasy.
Let's go. Let's start off with the first topic, man. It's quarterbacks on new teams. Who do you think is going to be the most impactful? Who do you think is going to be the most least impactful fantasy-wise? And who around them is going to be great because of that new quarterback in town? Start with you, Z. Who you got?
To me, it's kind of easy right now, and that's Tom Brady. He's going down to Tampa Bay with Chris Godwin. He's bringing Gronk. They have Mike Evans. They drafted a running back. Ronald Jones is there. He has Bruce Arians, one of the most prolific offensive coordinators, offensive minds that you've ever really seen in this game the last 10 years. So it's Tom Brady, and it's not even a question to me. This guy left New England so he could have some weapons because Bill Belichick just was not giving him the weapons in New England. He thought he was going to do it all by himself. He said, hey, I want a 6'2", 220 slot guy and Chris Godwin. I want a 6'4", 225 guy on the outside, Mike Evans. And then I'm going to bring Gronk along because, he's my best friend and we're best buddies and everything. So it's Tom Brady and it's easy.
Okay, I can't disagree with you. TB12, I mean, the guy just isn't slowing down, and he's got more weapons, and it's gold situation, fantasy gold. Who's saying the brain, Mr. Couch? What quarterback you like in a new spot, and who do you like around him?
So this question is basically like, how's Brady gonna do this year? There's a lot of unknowns, and there's a lot of stuff we know. What do we know? We know that even Brady couldn't take another year with Belichick. He needed new scenery. He's got a family. He's already been on Howard Stern. He wants to have fun. And what better way to go to Tampa Bay? He's already having fun. He's got Bruce Arians. He's got great weapons. And no one really knows. It's just how it is, how he's going to do this year. But everything aligns. And we don't know why he's, we like to say his receivers were slow and it just wasn't working. There was more to it than that. It wasn't just that. It was really bad last year. But we did see a glimpse of what he could do with the weapon when he had Antonio Brown for 11 snaps. So he still got something, but something also wasn't working. Now that he's got all these weapons and he's got a lot of input, they're already talking about running 2 tight end sets, which Bruce Arians to me just has one tight end and he uses him as a fullback. So let's see. This is completely different now. Let's see what he's going to do. He's got Gronk, OJ Howard, and a lot of people don't mention Cameron Brate, who's decent. He's pretty good in the end zone. So as an end zone target. So it's just going to be must-watch football. We're just going to have to see what happens. As of now, I have him ranked as a QB1. I do like him. I think he'll be good, maybe great, but we just got to wait and see. And the big question here is this. With all these lockdowns and the crazy schedule going on, these guys on new teams, Hopkins, Brady, are going to get more limited time, with even more limited time to practice with their new teammates. And so that is also, I think, a big factor that's kind of being overlooked, but also being talked about more now.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, TB12, even though he had nobody to throw to really, banged up weapons, he still had over 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions. So insert him in an Arians offense with all them weapons. I absolutely agree. I want to bring up something fun too, man. I always wanted Phillip Rivers to win a Super Bowl, man. I'm not saying that the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl, but I always rooted for that guy. I just always liked him, man. He was always successful. He always put up around really good numbers, man, around 30 touchdowns, always peaking at that 5,000. But what really intrigues me there is a lot of people wanted, Cam Newton and were complaining. A lot of people weren't really happy about the Phillip Rivers move. But this goes back to, in 2015 when head coach Frank Reich, he was the offensive coordinator there, and they struggled. They were 31st in the NFL in the run game, right? But what did they do? They had Phillip Rivers featured in that offense. He threw for 4,793 yards, 29 touchdowns, and he's in a lovely situation. I mean, Paris Campbell was drafted last year to be the guy, out all season. We're going to get him back healthy, fresh. They got Michael Pittman Jr., the king of the 50-50 ball out at USC. The kid went through 3 different quarterbacks and still put up ridiculous numbers. I love Michael Pittman. And then T.Y. Hilton, man, when he's healthy, T.Y. Hilton, he's boom or bust, I'll get it, but that kid can boom healthy. Then they got the 2 running backs now, Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack. I mean, Phillip Rivers is in a juicy situation, and I really think, Reach is going to feature him. Kind of like, how look how good he did with Carson Wentz when he was over there, offensive coordinator in Philly. So I really do like that Phillip Rivers. What do you guys think about Rivers over there in Indy? Z?
You're a lot more bullish on him than me. I seen Phillip Rivers last year past his prime. Yes, the offensive line was terrible, but this guy had a ton of chances in the 3rd and 4th quarter to make some plays at the end of games to win the LA Chargers, a lot
He
of
had a ton of
games.
chances for 15 years.
I mean, no, I'm talking just last year. I mean, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams had over 1,000 yards, but this thing, I mean, he didn't look that great. I don't believe in him in 2020 because of what I saw in 2019, even though the scenario in Indianapolis might be a little bit better with an offensive line and a run game. And I don't know if the weapons are any better. Paris Campbell, I don't have a lot of faith in him. T.Y. Hilton can't stay healthy. I don't know, man. I'm selling Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis in 2020, but that might just be me.
Look, there's nothing to get excited about with Phillip Rivers. You're getting excited about the wrong stuff here. There's just Phillip Rivers in fantasy is just another quarterback, and you guys are talking about how much you like dynasty, so this makes it the topic even more boring because Phillip Rivers is. This is what Phillip Rivers is. He's a pretty good passer. He used to be, I'd say, a great passer. Now, I've always said I got a lot of flack just last year. It's just funny how the responses are. Last year, everyone hated me because I said Phillip Rivers is not a Hall of Fame quarterback before the year started. Now everyone can't stop bashing Phillip Rivers. I'm in between. Like, I don't think he's whack. This is what he is. I'm gonna tell you guys the real analysis. Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is from another era. There's no quarterbacks ever being drafted as of recently that aren't mobile. And what's funny is, I mean, I've said this like past few weeks, but I think I got word just today or yesterday, I think today, that Dwayne Haskins even lost weight. Guy with the slow 40 time. Yeah. There's no statues anymore. No quarterback is a statue. Now, if you look up statue quarterback dictionary, it's Phillip Rivers. And I really don't care how well he does or nothing. This is what I'm excited about the Colts. And you mentioned this at least. So I like that. I love Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Marlon Mack is mediocre. He's going to still get his. Like, I love Jonathan Taylor, but I know Mack's still going to get his. But Jonathan Taylor, any running back behind that O-line should do good. But Jonathan Taylor is perfect with a strong interior line. He's a north and south runner. You could compare him to Derrick Henry, but actually my comparison is exactly a young Buffalo Bills Marshawn Lynch when he first got into the league. That's who I compare Jonathan Taylor to. So if you imagine a Buffalo Bills beast mode behind that Colts O-line, he's going to get 15, 16 carries, nothing more. That's still enough to absolutely go crazy. Another thing with Phillip Rivers, all his running backs dang near balled out. And I'm talking about, we can go through it as long as they're healthy, other than maybe Melvin Gordon his rookie year. But you could just chop that up as that's Melvin Gordon's fault. Like, I think it's pretty obvious. Ryan Matthews was decent when he was healthy. LaDainian Tomlinson, Mike Turner ended up balling in Atlanta. Darren Sproles, Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler. Like, this guy somehow, I don't think it's a coincidence, always produces good RB1s in fantasy, no matter who his coach is. So that's why I'm excited with the Colts. Guessing who the tight end situation and their wide receivers in fantasy, it's not appealing. I like T.Y. Hilton. He's going at a good spot, but then, he might get hurt. So T.Y. Hilton does have some appeal because of how low he's going. Other than that, I'm interested in Jonathan Taylor. And Phillip Rivers, he's not going to get you any rush stats. I'd rather have a guy like Minshew who's going to get me 30 rushing yards. That's 3 points. Right
there. Gardner
plus
Minshew
3
in Jacksonville.
Woo. Three brownies. Well, I'd take 3 brownie points, right off the top. Phillip Rivers averages 0.1 rush yards per game. Like, it's just, I mean, so he's going to have to make up by throwing an extra 1,000 yards. Why would I take that risk when he's on a new team?
It is a new system, but again, he's familiar with the coach. We'll see what happens there, man. I can't say I completely agree. I mean, I think he's got a little juice left. We will see.
That's the thing. I'm not saying like he'll probably be good, but it's like, I could take Minshew though. What I mean? In fantasy, like, so in a dual quarterback league, maybe Rivers is worth considering for sure.
Yeah, I put him in as nice quarterback too. I like him in a quarterback two redraft. Let's talk about Teddy Bridgewater, man. The Panthers' new offensive coordinators, Joe Brady. He was the Saints' offensive assistant, in 2018. So he saw what week 2 through 8, you had the Teddy Bridgewater show in the Saints. I mean, if anybody's going to plug and play in a system, it's going to be the New Orleans Saints or the Patriots. So he kind of walked into a gold mine, but he did go 5-0. He threw 9 touchdowns. I think 4 of them were to Michael Thomas, who was absolutely flooded with targets. And then the other guy that had a lot of targets was Alvin Kamara. So The CMC arrow is really it's still as high as could be. But do you think he's going to flood DJ Moore with the same amount of targets as he did Michael Thomas? What do you think, Hussein?
Well, no one's getting that type of targets, but yes, DJ Moore is the real conversation here, and I think C-Mac, of course. I think DJ Moore is solid. You can get him in round 4 in a redraft, and everybody pretty much plays PPR nowadays. I think DJ Moore is going to be good because the other options don't really excite me. Ian Thomas, I don't think is that good. The tight end replacing Greg Olsen. Curtis Samuel is kind of gone. Like he's not really a topic anymore. And then you got Robbie Anderson, who's a low volume type of, what do you call him? Gumby or string bean. Yeah. So I think DJ Moore is gonna benefit. I think he'll do very well. He's definitely a low end wide receiver 1.
And it's worth noting, too, during that span when Teddy Bridgewater was with the Saints, Jared Cook only averaged about 2 targets a game. So he doesn't utilize the tight end as much as you would think. So a lot of people are really getting bold with this sleeper prediction to Ian Thomas. And I'm with you, Hussein. I didn't see him use Jared Cook, who's a hell of a lot better than Ian Thomas, in my opinion.
He is, yeah.
So, I think DJ Moore will get flooded with targets. CMC is going to get them 10 dump-offs all game. Z, one more guy on here, man. Let's just broaden this out a little bit, man. Let's talk about the biggest free agent signings trade that's going to be a fantasy impact this year. Who are you going with?
Yo, real quick on DJ Moore, I think 4th round's a little bullish on this man. I got him in the top 30 overall. So just to chime in on him, he's my 11th ranked wide receiver, and he's my 27th ranked player in redraft if we're playing one quarterback. So unless we're playing super flex, I think the 4th round, you're not going to see DJ Moore. I mean, everybody's going to be hip on this man, and they think he's going to be getting this target share that's out of this world because of the target share he had last year. And Teddy Bridgewater.
Wait, you're confusing me. Thomas. You're saying he's going to go in round 3.
Yeah. I think
he's not going to make it to round 4.
I think if you're thinking he's going to be there in the 4th round, I'm not sure he's going to be there. Not if we're just talking redraft in a 1 quarterback league. If we're talking super flex, that's a different story. But if you're waiting to the 4th round to get DJ Moore, you're probably going to have to go get him because he's a top 12 wide receiver in 2020 redraft. You're going to have to draft him as a wide receiver 1. That's going to be in the top 36 picks. I mean, if you have the first pick in the 4th round, but if you're sitting there at 4-8, I don't think DJ Moore is going to be there for you.
That's what I'm not going to lose sleep over losing on DJ Moore. He's actually going in mid 4th round. So yes, half the time he will go in round 3. The other half he'll go in round 4. And once in a miracle, once in the orange blood moon, you'll see him go to round 5. I see guys like Cooper going round 5. I see Metcalf going before all these guys we just named. Like you see, especially with wide receivers, you'll see craziness. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like you got to bank. Like I'm not betting my life on him being there in round 4. I also don't care because I can get Allen Robinson, who I actually love.
Well,
even more.
I love that you point that out, and that's how that wide receiver tier is. It kind of starts with my wide receiver 11, that is DJ Moore. But just kind of listen to some of the names. It's DJ Moore, Thielen, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen. That's
Calvin Ridley's there.
That's all around your 3rd, 4th. Like, okay, like someone is going to jump up. There is a lot of DJ Moore lovers in this world that think this guy is just on the rise. He's going into his 3rd year, which is a very crucial year for wide receivers. Teddy Bridgewater's coming in there, and he's by far the most talented wide receiver in that group. And, I mean, we've seen the proof in the pudding last year in 2019 that he can handle the target share. He can be a number 1 type wide receiver. I might not love drafting him in the 3rd round, but if I'm sitting there in the 4th just banking on DJ Moore, I don't think he's going to be there in most drafts.
Well, my advice, don't bank on him. It's okay. It's okay. I'm cool with Allen Robinson. I'm cool with A.J. Brown. Robert Woods is a sleeper that's going sometimes gets slept on because he's not really sexy. DJ Moore is the sexy name. There's just so many names. I'm looking in this Odell Beckham conspiracy. I don't know about that. I haven't delved into it yet.
I think Beckham bounce out. I think he balls out this year, but I want to go back. EJ
I think he balls out in the direction. Balls out crying out of Cleveland.
That's the
only balling he's gonna do.
Hey, that's boom or bust. He could do either one.
I
Yeah.
like boomer bust at the right position. I think DJ Moore is pretty safe, but I think somebody's going to reach for him in almost every single draft because of the upside and a third-year wide receiver like him. But EJ did bring up who is the most impactful free agent, probably as a skill player. I mean, the obvious name to me is Melvin Gordon in Denver. They obviously didn't think Lindsey was the power horse running back that they wanted. They wanted more of a running back by committee, more of a power back in between the tackles. They stole a player from the division. Melvin Gordon's going to come into Denver with Drew Lock, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant. We love this offense here at Uncensored Football. Fantasy Couch, my man, what you think? What do you think about Melvin Gordon? What do you think about the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, that's the guy right there. A lot of people don't know. They don't understand this backfield. I'm telling you, like, specifically, other than Melvin Gordon was in the same division and probably can't wait to play against the Chargers and loves playing for the Broncos. They brought him in because for some reason people call Philip Lindsay a pass catcher, probably because he's small. Sometimes things are more simple than they are. He's really not. He doesn't suck at pass catching. Now they brought in Melvin Gordon, who's an excellent pass catcher. You could throw the fade, you could throw legit passes to this guy. So yeah, he's going to get 16 carries a game, maybe 11 carries a game, but he's going to get 5, 6, 7 targets a game, and just is going to really help out Locke. So and this is a question I get a lot, like, oh, is your rankings non-PPR, PPR? I was like, well, they're mostly the same, except for some players. When it comes, some running backs, some wide receivers, they're pretty much the same because I do positional rankings. But like Derrick Henry gets a huge boost in non-PPR. As for Melvin Gordon, he gets a good boost in full PPR. So those are like the two of the biggest guys that stand out when you're talking about non-PPR versus PPR. So I do like Melvin Gordon. Like I said, 11 carries, 16 carries. That's fine because I'm banking on him getting 5+ targets per game and being heavily used. He's motivated.
Yeah, he definitely is. He passed up that, $40 million 4 years with the Chargers. He got the 2 years, I think 16 mil with Denver, to prove it. And I think they're going to get every cent out of him. I think you say 10 to 16. I think that offense is really going to rest on the shoulders of Locke, but I think they're going to run Melvin Gordon. And, he doesn't stay healthy, though. He needs to stay upright because if he does, though, man, he can run them into the playoffs because that offense is so great. But, again, it's going to come down to Drew Lock. And trusting a quarterback in Denver has been a hard thing the past couple of years unless your name is Peyton Manning. But what about my man Todd Gurley, though? He's inserted in Atlanta, and I get it, the injury risk, but that's an offensive line there. I mean, that is an offensive line. I can't stand the coach. I think he should have been fired 2 seasons ago. I mean, ever since Shanahan left there, he hasn't been worth a damn. But Todd Gurley's going to get volume, man. He's on a prove-it deal. That means this boy is going to get work. And, every year they talk about this knee holding him back, and I get it, man, but it's a juicy situation. The pass game is ridiculous. There's weapons everywhere. Insert another free agent, Hayden Hurst. Goes right into that tight end role. I think Hayden Hurst might even be better than the guy he replaced. That's right. I really like Todd Gurley's fit in Atlanta. What do you guys think about it? Hussein?
Well, Hayden Hurst is easy. I love him. Yes, I have him ranked much higher than Austin Hooper. I think that's an easy one. Dirk, I call him Dirk Coutier. He destroys it with tight ends. Every tight end he gets near balls out. And Hooper last year. So I like Hurst. But with Gurley, it's an absolute question mark. There is we have no idea. And I think people are just afraid to admit that. I mean, if the Falcons thought what you thought, is it a 1-year deal?
Yeah, 1-year deal.
I mean, if the Falcons thought what you thought, I mean, wouldn't they sign him longer?
Well,
it's
just a proven deal, man. That's motivation. You know what I mean?
I get you, but I'm saying that you think that, but I mean, no other team really thinks that. I mean, that's the reason they're not signing him for a 1-year deal because he's absolutely like talentless running back, like Peyton Barber. He's not getting a 1-year deal. He's getting a 1-year deal because he's got arthritis in his knee and he's a huge question mark. So a lot of good can happen and a lot of bad. And another scenario that can happen is you're going to do a little dance. You're like, got Gurley, he's balling. And then 2 weeks later, you crying. Yeah. That could be Gurley's. But, I'm saying there's two scenarios here. He's talented. He is going to get volume. I mean, if he can, as long as nothing freakishly crazy happens, he's going to probably be involved in the pass game at least a little bit. There's no Sanu, Hooper's gone. So I do like that. I don't know how good their O-line is. You said, I always thought they didn't have a great O-line last year from what I saw. I mean, Matt Ryan his face seemed really messed up and he seemed sad, and no running back ever did good last year on that team. So I don't think their O-line was that good.
Matt Ryan might be still thinking of that 28-3, lead that he got on Tom Brady and them a couple years ago. But if we're just talking about Todd Gurley in the 2020 season, I think he is an excellent RB2. He's going to get the volume. And what running back situation is there? Just nobody in the backfield behind. There's no.
This is true. This is true. Yes. Ito Smith. Yeah.
I kind of liked him, and then they have a couple other guys, Brian Hill and the other boy from Pitt, and they're just kind of. I mean, they're just almost like practice squad players.
Yeah.
Early, if this man's healthy, he's going to ball. I promise you. I just don't know if he's going to be healthy. They gave him a 1-year deal. I don't know if they just want to check out his knee for themselves with their doctors or not. I'm pretty sure this guy only has maybe 2-3 more years. But tell me an offense that has competition for carries, a high-powered offense that plays constantly in dome after good field position. They don't play in New England in December or Cleveland in a snowstorm. They're playing in New Orleans' dome, and they play in Carolina and Tampa Bay. They're playing always in good weather. Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones. You bring up Hayden Hurst. And this offense, I mean, we've said it before on Uncensored Football. It has 11 first-round picks on this offense, including Todd Gurley. If he has anything left, he is going to ball this year until the arthritis just gives out and this man has to go to a retirement home.
And for redraft, hopefully that's next year.
He didn't last 24 hours on the free agency. As soon as free agency hit, he was gone before 24 hours were up. They scooped him up. I mean, I love it. And let's be real. The NFC South is powerful, but not on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Carolina's probably the worst defense in the league, in my opinion. And the Saints, they're mediocre in there. Tampa's looking pretty nice on D, but he's got a great opportunity here to really succeed.